Do it. Let's play the comparison game. Cooper Flagg versus Luka Doncic. Who is easier to build around as a franchise cornerstone on today's One More Thing of Locked On Mavs?
I'm here because I have to.
Dallas is going to get a seat at the table.
That's it. It's me versus the machine.
Nice penetrating thrust to the middle.
People forget about him.
Hot man, the hot player.
Wait. One more thing. Yeah, it's a one more thing. You locked on the Dallas Mavericks. This is one of your co-hosts, Isaac Harris. Been covering the Mavs for the last 10 years. Alongside my good friend, Nick. Been doing daily shows for Locked On Podcast and Locked On Mavs for a while now. Before Luka, after Luka, here we are still doing this thing. This is an extra show. It's called One More Thing, 15 to 20 minutes. And then, it's an extra show over the weekend. We'll be back to regular shows later on tonight. We'll talk about the Desmond Bane trade and how that impacts the Mavericks and stuff. Nick and myself later on Sunday night. Thanks for making Locked On Mavs your first listen of the day. Go listen to Locked On NBA Big Board. Raphael's big timing right now. He's going on all these big time national podcasts talking about the NBA draft. It's so cool seeing him continue to blow up because I think he's honestly one of the best in the business with the NBA draft. So make sure you go listen to Raphael and his brother on Locked On NBA Big Board. I want to talk about Cooper Flagg and Luka Doncic. It is inevitable that they're going to be compared to each other in some way, right? Like, I mean, when you have a franchise cornerstone with any franchise, I think or a franchise piece like a Cooper Flagg or like a Luka Doncic to that caliber, you're naturally going to get compared to the last person who is in that spot, right? Like, I mean, any franchise out there, you're going to come. If it's in NFL, you're going to get compared to, who's the last best quarterback that you had on your team or different sport. Like it's just inevitable. For Dallas Mavs and for the fans in Dallas, we were so lucky for so long to have Dirk Nowitzki. I mean, we've done so many podcasts over the past years on Dirk, and he is a legend. He is untouchable. He is the GOAT for Dallas sports and everything. So, when you have a legend like Dirk, whoever comes after Dirk is going to be to him in some fashion, in some way, because he's the best player in franchise history. He's a Hall of Famer and all-time scorer and like all this different stuff. Luka comes along. So you have Dirk all of those years. You have, literally over 2 decades in one city. 2 decades, one city. Just wanted to throw that out there again. Throw that there. And, we have him there until the end of it's like kind of the end of the teens there in the 2000s. And, it's getting those last years. We know it's entering the last years of Dirk in 2017, 18, 19. And it's like, man, what's the Mavericks going to look like without Dirk? Like, we've had Dirk wearing a Mavs jersey for so long. What's this even going to look like? And then, bam, Luka comes on in 2018. They overlap by 1 year, which is something that we will always look back on and be like, holy crap, there's no way Luka and Dirk play together. The further we get away from that, the crazier that's going to seem to people in history. They're like, this is photoshopped. And it's like, nope, they played a year together. So Luka takes the reins from Dirk, and then Luka has the start to his career that is unlike we've hardly ever seen before from a player, right? The 5 All-NBAs, and he goes to the playoffs multiple times, and we go to NBA Finals, and it's like you had some conversations here and there. Maybe it's Dallas-based media or radio shows and different stuff. It's like, oh, right, well, who's the better Maverick, Luka, Dirk? And, well, Luka's probably the overall. And, Dirk's so self-deprecating. And he's like, dude, Luka's so much better. And, like, but it's like, nah, well, Dirk's is the better all-time Maverick. Luka's probably, more versatile offensively, like different. But then it's like, oh, young Dirk. So it's just inevitable. You're going to talk about these two guys in the same light. And then, bam, the trade happens 7 years into Luka's career. And then, bam, we get the lottery. And now Cooper Flagg's going to be here. So what are, like, how do you even compare the two? How do you look at building around Luka Doncic, building around Cooper Flagg. What were they like? What are they like as prospects and players? And how does it change things for the Mavericks? So I want to have the exercise today. I'm sure it will not make anybody upset, right? And let's just go through and compare building around Luka, building around Cooper Flagg. Where do you give the edge to Luka? Where do you give the edge to Cooper Flagg? What's it like? Who's easier? Who has the better ceiling? Offense, defense, effort, size, athleticism, the highest ceiling. Who's easier to build around as far as a roster? I want to go through each of these categories. And obviously, we're going to skim the surface a little bit and not go down through different numbers. And hey, this is what Cooper Flagg is coming off veer action. And I'm not going to do all that right now. All right. So let's just start here. Offense. Luka Doncic versus Cooper Flagg on offense. You have to give Luka the nod on this, all right? So like there's no ifs, ands, or buts around this. I mean, the shot creation from Luka, shooting in general, creating of the offense, playmaking, running the pick and roll, however you want to slice it on offense, Luka is one of the best offensive players in the entire NBA. And when you're a Mavericks team and you're building around somebody, a cornerstone piece as your alpha, as your Batman, this is arguably the most important thing you have to have in the playoffs. We've seen MVP SGA have these big moments, and he's hitting the biggest, toughest shots. Without Luka, you're not going to the NBA Finals. Like when you go deep in the playoffs, you got to have a shot maker, a shot creator, a guy like a Luka Doncic, and that's where Luka is one of the best in the game. So he's naturally, you give him the edge over a Cooper Flagg when it comes to that. You're like, all right, is there anything that Cooper has on Luka on the offensive side? Even though we're giving this category to Luka, I would say above the rim play. Like Cooper Flagg definitely plays above the rim way more than Luka. I would say Cooper Flagg's a little bit bigger than Luka, right? Like he's got a little bit more size to use on offense. And then I'd say off the ball. Say Cooper Flagg moves more off the ball. He's a better off the ball, like cutter, pass and move. I don't think you see, or at least what I've seen from Cooper Flagg, it's not as much as like pass and kind of chill and hang out. He's going to move, he's going to cut and all the stuff. So I give those like subcategories there to Cooper, but overall, you got to give the offensive edge to Luka Doncic when it comes to offense. Defense. Let's turn the page over to defense. I think we can all agree, right, that Cooper Flagg wins defense over Luka if we're going to do the comp thing. And you're like, hey, why are you pitting them against each other? I know I feel like some of you are probably saying that. I'm not pitting them against each other. I'm just saying, what does it look like now? We built around Dirk for 2 decades. Then you start building around Luka Doncic for the past 5 to 7 years. Now you're going to start shifting at some point to build around Cooper Flagg. So what is it? How does it change? What does it look? How does it look different? That's basically what I'm trying to do with this exercise. Pretty much every category goes to Cooper Flagg when it comes to defense, right? I mean, from individual defense, perimeter defense, above the rim defense, defensive playmaking above the rim, contesting shots, blocks, all the stuff. Like that's Cooper Flagg's like his MO, right? Like he is that good of a defensive player, that good of a defensive prospect. He's got the size, all the things. I mean, there's a reason why people are comping him to Kawhi Leonard or a Jason Tatum or an Andre Karolinko for some people. I've thrown around Kevin Garnett for a long time now. So these are like some of the best defensive players of all time. I mean, I've seen some people even throw Pippen out. So it's like, all right, just think of perimeter defenders that are big, and that's where you're going to get with like a Cooper Flagg. So I'm super excited for Cooper to watch him play defense. I think he's going to captivate Mavs fans with some of his defensive plays and effort. And I cannot wait for some of those highlights. Let's take a break, and then I want to come back and I want to talk about some other some other categories. And it's crazy because they go back and forth of like, hey, I think Luka wins this one, I think Cooper wins this one, and we'll go from there. And I'm sure you will let me know, or you let me know in the comments where you agree or disagree. This podcast is brought to you by Olipop. Olipop is a new kind of soda made for people who love the classic taste of soda but want something that supports their health, specifically their digestive health. With just 2 to 5 grams of sugar and 9 grams of prebiotic fiber in every can, Olipop is reimagining soda in a way that's better for your gut. Guys, they sent us 4 different flavors. I got 4 different cases right now in my refrigerator of Olipop grape flavored root beer, vintage cola, crisp apple. I mean, I'm cracking one of these open for like every meal that we're doing right now. Okay, at home, I'm cooking. I'm like, all right, I gotta have Olipop while I'm cooking. It's just, it gives you like that instant taste of like a soda, but it's much healthier than a soda. So this is where Olipop comes in there. Traditional sodas are loaded with sugar, like 39 grams in a regular Coke or 44 grams in an orange Fanta. Olipop flips the script with just a fraction of sugar. Right now, classic grape is my favorite. Vintage cola, it's kind of right there. So I think it's one of those two. If you can get one of those two, I think you should. So make sure you, go to Olipop. Get a free can. This is the coolest thing about this. You can get a free can of Olipop. Just buy 2 cans in a store. They'll reimburse you for one. Head to drinkolipop.com/LockedOnNBA. Claim your free can and find Olipop near to you. That's drinkolipop.com. /LockedOn This podcast is also brought to you by our friends at FanDuel. FanDuel, guys, the NBA Finals are in full swing right now. And, guys, every Finals game delivers highlight-worthy performances. Major momentum shifts. Can't miss moments. And if you want to get in on the action with FanDuel, it's not just before the game. You can do it live in the game. It's easy to stay in the game before tip-off and live with player props, performance trends, same-game parlays. Fans have more ways than ever to play smart and win big. Man, there's so many different things with the Pacers, OKC. Good luck if you were throwing out stuff the other night. That fourth quarter was so much fun. SGA was doing MVP stuff. So, you can do $200 bonus in bets. Add to the excitement for your first $5 if your first $5 bet hits. New to FanDuel, it's the perfect time to sign up. Head to FanDuel.com and place your first $5 bet. If it wins, you'll get $200 in bonus bets. Make every moment more with FanDuel, official sports partner of the NBA.
Shut it down! Let's go home!
God, I couldn't even talk right there. Struggling through some of that ad break. Dads do the ads, baby. Especially on Father's Day. Happy Father's Day to all the fathers out there. A lot of emotions that come with Father's Day. There's a lot of great feelings for where fatherhood is a blast. And some of you guys love being a father. I love being a dad myself. And some of you have some awesome dads that are worth celebrating. And some of you out there have some dads that are not worth celebrating. And there's a lot of feelings that come with that. And I'm thinking about you today too, and people who want to be dads, but you're not dads. And there's a lot of tough feelings with that too. So anyway, I'm thinking about a lot of different things today with Father's Day. Sharp transition into Cooper Flagg, back to Cooper Flagg and Luka Doncic. So I'm doing a little comp between the two, see kind of just comparing what it's like to build around both. How do they differ as prospects? So we did offense, we did defense, some broad categories there. We could have broken it down even more, but we gave the offensive nod to Luka, defensive nod to Cooper. Let's do effort. I'm going to give the nod to Cooper Flagg. Here's the thing. I'm not saying that Luka doesn't try. Luka tries. Luka's just very inconsistent with his effort. This is when it comes down to a lot of his defense, to where he's not like a Trae Young or somebody who just can't play defense. Our biggest thing all along is like he just doesn't always try on defense. And you can look at some of Luka's effort and be like, man, I wish that was like more consistent, right? For Cooper Flagg, this is one of the things he's known for, is his effort and tenacity. He's given 110% all the time. He's always flying around the floor. His motor never stops. This is where you do give the edge to Cooper Flagg of like, when you think about some of the things that Cooper is known for, it's like, man, effort, defense, just his tenacity and stuff on the floor. Like, this is stuff that he's known for. So I give the effort nod to Cooper Flagg in that. Next one, athleticism. I'll say don't sleep on Luka Doncic's rookie season. Go back and watch some of those highlights. There was some pretty crazy as far as like jumping athleticism, because we all know athleticism looks more than just who has the highest vertical. But I have to give Cooper Flagg the edge on athleticism too. There's things that Cooper does on the floor athletically, especially at this stage of Luka's career. And I say at this stage, it's just 7 years into it. But Luka does look different now and play a little different style than he did in his rookie season. But just with Cooper's ability to play above the rim, both on offense and defense, I give him the edge on that athleticism. So right now I have Cooper having the edge on effort, athleticism. He is a slightly bigger than Luka, but I don't think that's really a category. Give Cooper the edge on defense. Luka has the offense, and I will give this next category to Luka also. Highest ceiling. Now this is hard because I know I feel like a lot of Cooper Flagg fans are going to come at me here, but guys, the likelihood that Cooper Flagg is going to hit the exact exact accolades or more accolades than Luka in the first 5, 6, 7 years of his career. We're talking about all NBAs, constantly in these MVP runnings and campaigns and finishing the top MVP votes. I think when you look at what you want to do as an NBA team and how you want to build your team for the highest stages in the biggest moments and for deep playoff runs, I think an elite shot maker, an MVP type of shot maker that you can run the offense through at the top of the key and he can score at all three levels really effectively and stuff. I think that the ceiling and where you've seen Luka's level of ceiling right now, I think it's a little bit higher than Cooper's, but it's not saying it's just kind of like a two different types of player, right? It's like you're comparing and this is really broad here, so just go with me. It's like you're trying to compare a Magic Johnson to a Kevin Garnett or a Magic Johnson to a Jason Tatum or something like that. It's just kind of different, right? Yeah, it's just two different types of players where Cooper has he's the two-way monster, right? He has the highest ceiling for best two-way overall player. But right now I give the ceiling. Who has the highest ceiling that they can hit? I think it's Luka Doncic. And then here's the question that I think we can go back to and go back and forth on is who's easier to build around? Who is easier to build around, Luka or Cooper Flagg? When I think about building around Luka, I think about all the different conversations we had over the years of finding exact players. You got to find players that kind of fit defined roles, right? You want the rim rolling center. You need you need a lot of shooting stretch four, arguably around Luka. You need another playmaker there in the back. You kind of need a little bit more. You need more defense, right? Because Luka, he's not going to make an all NBA defensive team. So you need to add a little bit more defense, a little more focus on defensive pieces around him, more 3-and-D types of guys. But also when you're talking about building around someone, I think that's the most important thing you have to have is the elite shot maker. So what's easier to build around? Because then you can go to Cooper Flagg and say, all right, even if you have an exact type of player, just like Cooper Flagg, he can fit next to Cooper Flagg. Do you have to have certain types of players that fit perfectly next to Cooper? I would argue not really, right? You definitely need offensive creation. You need guys that can handle the ball and create some of the offense to share that load with Cooper Flagg. But I wouldn't say you have to have a defined type of center. I wouldn't say you have to I think it's a little bit easier to build around Cooper because he's a two-way wing to where now, you're looking at all these different types of guards, forwards and wings and big man that you can really cast a wider net instead of, hey, let's hone in on what's the exact type of, let's meet with Cooper Flagg, kind of like what LA did with Luka, and was hey, who are the exact type of centers that you'd like to play with or you think you excel with and all of that. So yeah, is it weird to say I think it's easier to build around Cooper Flagg than it is Luka? But I think Luka has the higher ceiling of the type of elite MVP guy that Luka can be. I don't know. It's kind of weird. It's the ceiling of Luka with the offensive creation. This is what I wrote down. I'll just read it. The ceiling of Luka with the offensive creation will be hard to hit, especially since that's the most important thing you need. But Cooper has a path to be easier to build around. the better two-way player, and just as lovable with his highlights and energy. So when I look at building around these two guys, I think fans are going to be just as excited for Cooper Flagg. I think, as far as like the player and everything, I'm not talking about all the trauma fans are still going through after the trade. I think he's going to have highlights and stuff that just look different than Luka, right? Like, they're going to be plays like Luka's going to have all those step back threes and playing the guitar down the floor and cooking people with the step backs and all that stuff. Cooper Flagg's highlights are going to be flying above the rim and yamming on somebody or blocking a shot up into like the 18th row. And he's going to be diving on the floor and screaming and locking somebody down and then getting into the paint and scoring on somebody and flexing. And like, it's going to be a different type of energy, different type of highlights, but it's going to be just as lovable and a lot of fun for fans. And that two-way guy, I'm really curious to see what happens with building around Cooper Flagg, because I do think it opens up a little bit more as far as what I do think it's a little bit easier to build around Cooper Flagg moving forward and as a prospect, because I think a wider variety of players can excel around Cooper Flagg. The question is, can that formula reach an NBA Finals and have the success that the formula you had around Luka, even though those were defined roles around Luka, that defined system got you to an NBA Finals and another Western Conference Finals and multiple playoff appearances, all within, and all the stuff all within the first 7 years of Luka's career. So blessed to have both of them, had both of them in Dallas at some point. Super blessed to have Cooper Flagg coming in here to Dallas, and it should be a lot of fun. And hopefully we don't have to play the comp game to Luka Doncic that often. When we see Cooper Flagg have an awesome defensive moment and just lock someone down, we don't have to do the firing off the tweets of, oh my gosh, it's so nice. Like, Luka could have never defended someone like this. Just the same way as when it's the end of a game and Kyrie's not out there because he's not back healthy yet, and they give Cooper Flagg the ball, and maybe he's not as locked in on offense to create a shot, and maybe he gets blocked or stripped or something. It's like, yeah, he doesn't have the step back and all the moves like Luka does on offense. We don't have to do that either. It's a different type of star player to build around in Dallas. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. Bummed to see Luka in LA, but excited to see a new star and a new version of a star in Dallas. All right, we'll be back tonight, Sunday night. Nick and myself talking about Desmond Bane trade and all the other stuff. And guys, Cooper Flagg's coming to town this week in Dallas. So yeah, let's get excited about that. Peace out. Boom.